registered products. And the back page of the Daily Graphic, we have Kotoko shares spoiled with Wafa, Karela United crush Chelsea, and Dwarfs shock Liberty at Danselman. The Daily Graphic. And we have the Ghanaian Times says that ministerial appointments expected to be announced this week, and autopsies of 20 COVID-19 deaths reveal acute lung conditions, and farmer arrested for allegedly killing man 45. Surges in COVID-19 cases. Ghana Health Service races to secure facilities to treat increasing numbers of patients in Accra. And the back page says Kotoko hold Wafa at Sugapope and no loss for immigration ladies. The Ghanaian Times. And I have the finder in the studio says stop abusing the uniform police. Parliament must suspend fees for tertiary students. Mahama Ayariga. And $570 million across term motorway expansion contract duly evaluated, negotiated. Ministry. President gets tough on COVID-19 protocols. Orders police to deal with defaulters. Warns of possible return of lockdown. Export applications under AFTA through income starts today. Chinese frontline doctors to help Ghanaians combat COVID-19 and will insist on schools' adherence to protocols. NASA, the finder. And we have the Daily Analyst says that schools reopen today, observe COVID protocols, or Akufo-Addo urges as Ghana records 200 cases daily. IGP acts to enforce COVID measures. Pubs, nightclubs must be closed down. Whom you know, syndrome killing our progress. President of ACCP, embrace participates leadership. The Daily Analyst. And the last paper is a BNFT, which says active private pension contributors overtake basic national scheme, and Bank of Ghana to arrest CD's depreciation with $775 million injection and $300 million for Q1 alone. Economist says outlook is positive. GSA postpones implementation of revised importer registration fees indefinitely. And the back page says massive disinfection carried out at KIA, and 700 farmers benefit from B. Bovett's COVID-19 relief package, the BNFT. Right, so to introduce my guest, across the table opposite me I have Reverend Appiah Kusi. He is a lecturer at the Oxford University and a social analyst, and he says it like it has to be said. Reverend, good morning.
Good morning.
You warmly welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
And how's Oxford doing?
You're doing great.
You're good?
Yes.
I've been seeing you on other platforms, very wild. Very, very wild. But it's nice to have you around. It's nice to have you around. And then also in the studio we have, he's becoming a regular phase on the Breakfast Show, and trust me, very good submissions as well. We have Dr. Philip Kisi. He is a lecturer at the University Education Winneba. Yes, Doc, good morning.
Morning.
How are you? And how is how's the family?
Yeah, the family, they are doing well.
Everybody's good?
Yes, please.
Okay. And how was your weekend?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay, just that I have to attend some funeral.
Okay.
And yeah.
And did you observe the protocols?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that the organizers of the funeral did very well. Because you can't even enter the funeral without nose masks and without checking your temperature.
Okay.
I think they did well.
Right. Let me just take a quick break quickly. Starting with you, Reverend. You listened to the president yesterday when he came to our homes, like you say, he came to our homes. He was very stern yesterday. I mean, my president, he was not smiling at all. Anyway, the cases are worrying. What did you have of his statement yesterday? Quickly.
Yeah, I think what I picked from the president's speech yesterday, as you said, is the cooperation that he needs from Ghanaians. I think he's not getting it. And to me, from where I sit, I think I made this suggestion some time ago, and I'll just reiterate it. Look, I was thinking if we had mandated the assemblies to enforce the COVID-19 protocols, I think it would be more appropriate. Now, what do I mean? The markets are under them. And look at our market. You go there, the market women are not wearing face masks. Those who are going to buy are not wearing. So imagine we now mandate the assemblies to now enforce it. What they can do is they can just go and buy the face mask, give to the market women, then make an agreement today. If you are not wearing it, it's just two things. You are going to pay an instant 50 Ghana cedis, or perhaps you'll be banned for 2 weeks from selling the market. Now what will happen is that they can even get volunteers just going around taking secret pictures. When they come and you're not wearing it, they just take a picture of you. What you understand? So what happens is the moment they get the picture, they come to you, the task force will come to you and say, look, this is your picture. You are not wearing it. So just instant 50 cedis, or you are banned for 2 weeks from the market. I tell you, the market will not comply because they wouldn't want to use their 50 cedis. How much do you even make in a day?
Yeah.
You understand? To me, from I said that's one of the nice, and even those who are entering the market, they can get people at the entrance. Because the rule says no space for no entry. And to almost all organizations in this country. And the market too is another organization. It's an office to some people. So there's something can get people at the entrance when they're coming and don't have the face mask, they have it so they can sell it to you. So I was thinking, imagine those who are just deviant, they don't want to apply the rules, they will be paying the 50 cents for how long? They will stop paying and they will just think of wearing. So I think instead of us to now use the police, because the question, do we even have the police to enforce? If all Ghanaians are not to wear it, are you going to arrest all Ghanaians? Are you going to put all of us in? So and look at the rules that we made. You are going to pay 12,000 Ghana cedis or 4 years in prison. I mean, how are you going to put all Ghanaians? So I'm from what I said, I think our leaders should, sometimes when our laws should not be that punitive, but just a way to call for cooperation. Okay. You understand? So I think if we can now bring in the assemblies, because from what we have now, that 12,000 and the 4 years,
okay. All right, Doc. Just a quick bite into
Yeah. What I would say is that, in fact, yesterday I listened to President's message, and it was so worried because when you realize that within the time frame, according to the President, within 2 weeks, the number has increased. Doubled from I think 900. Now we have about 1,900 and something. Then what was so worried was now it's not about those who are having. Those who are having certain medical conditions. Now the youth are also suffering from that. And it's so worried because the youth were thinking that was for the old age. I remember sometimes I asked my mother to come to Accra. I said, no, we the old age people, we cannot come to Accra because, because of a medical condition. But now it's not about your medical condition. All the youth are getting, most of the youth are also getting infected by this virus. So I think that is very worried. But like Reverend said, in terms of places that we gather, for instance, the marketplaces. But Reverend, you see, one thing is that some of the marketplaces are so open that you can't have specific gate that people can monitor, like Agroji. So I think that the police enforcement and maybe deploying some military men, because when
military again?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason why I'm saying that if you have 2 or 3 military men around checking, I'm telling you, people will comply. I remember there was a time I was at Abosokai. There was only 1 military man. And you'll be there, they will shout, the military man is coming, then everybody is trying to get the nose mask on. So if they do that, I think it will help. Then what I've also observed is that, Ghanaians, sometimes we want to experience or want to witness the punishment that is given. So for instance, if somebody faults the law and they are taking the person to court, you understand? They are not going to follow to watch whatever pains or whatever trouble that person will go through. So I believe that there was a time, Bono, their number was not increasing. I went there and I observed that the military, the militia, they were there. When you don't have the nose mask, they will force to sell some to you. Then they will ask you to work. So some of them were cleaning gutters. So just imagine, if I'm passing by and I see somebody cleaning a gutter, do you think that I will not go with my nose mask? So I think that there should be some measures apart from the law.
Okay.
Because that they may be, we find it difficult to see the number coming down.
Okay.
Then another point is that concerning the throat road that we've been working. Today when I was coming, this morning when I was coming, I just tried to find out whether indeed what President said, people are going to, and most of them are not wearing the nose mask. So I think that they have unions, the GPRGs, what are they doing? They should make sure that you should find them. If you are not, if you are a trotro driver, you should make sure that before anybody comes in, the person should wear the nose mask. You understand? And I think that they should also reconsider in terms of the social distance in trotro. Because most of them will not wear it, and they are sitting closer. and sometimes they receive calls, talking here and there. So just imagine what then will happen.
And with what all of you are saying is so true, because I think last week the president of the Greater Accra Markets Association also made the point of which a lot of people come to the market, about 80% are not wearing the face masks. I mean, it's worrying. It's so worrying. Right. Next, we'll be looking at. We're going to start with Reverend Kusi on this one. Now, citizens are allowed to film police when being searched. MTTD. Now, Head of Education, Research and Training of the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate, Ghana Police Service says citizens are allowed to record police officers they are being searched. Superintendent Alexander Bing, who was speaking on Joy News The Law Sunday, noted that the act will keep the police officers on their toes and protect the dignity of citizens. According to him, suspects of any crime when being searched still have their rights. Therefore, police officers should not humiliate them. Quote, citizens have rights when they are being searched, arrested and transported to the police station or court. And the first right that is guaranteed under our 1992 Constitution is Article 15. It is very critical that is why, despite whatever power police have, when arresting and searching people, it is not supposed to be done in an undignified manner, he stated. 2 weeks ago, City FM's Umar Osanda was subjected to what has been described as an unlawful search at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange by 4 armed policemen who were driving a SWAT branded car with registration number GP4536. He added that the armed men demanded to search his car for weapons and drugs. Mr. Sander, who captured all the action on camera, later explained that he filmed the police search to ensure no incriminating evidence was planted into his car. The Superintendent Obing says it is impressive and must be encouraged everywhere. He subsequently advises subordinates to be cautious how they react when they are being filmed. For him, citizens have the right and must be allowed to exercise it. Reverend, a lot of people don't know this.
You see, what he says is just an opinion. To me, from where I sit,
why is it
what the superintendent says is an opinion he's sharing. You see, we have the Police Act. We also have the standard operating procedures. There's nowhere that it has stated that people should film police.
But he quoted the Constitution.
Now, the Constitution is putting the right that we have you are perceived as a suspect, you have the right. You understand? But I'm saying it's not emphatic. I'm talking about filming, as he's just quoted. The Constitution, the article that he quoted, that's about filming. He just quoting the right that once you are perceived to be a suspect, you still have the right. So right to do what? Now that see the point. See, I personally watched that video, and I was very, very angry. You know why? Ghanaians need to be taught that look, the police have the mandate. Whenever they perceive you to be in any kind of, they have the right to search you. Oh yes. They can stop you. You see, from the statement I saw like unlawful search, and I'm like, so which law did they break as police officers? You can only quote unlawful when there's a law that they break it. Which law? They have the law. The law permit them that when they see you, then they can stop you and search you. I get to my point. So that to me, the police didn't break. But
once it's been that search, I as a Ghanaian citizen in the Constitution have the right to film what he's doing.
That's sensitive. So the right does not stipulate that film, but like I said, you have the right. Nobody stops you. But you see, from the video, if you are going by this video, from the video, I think some of the questions that came from the gentleman, that's Omar Sanda, to me was very annoying. You already wear a face mask, and you're asking somebody who wears your face mask. It's an insult. He who seeks equity must come with clean hands. You can't ask somebody when you are guilty of the same offense. Are you getting it? Those are sarcastic words. So the point is nobody stops you from filming. But even by the law, what I know about the law is that whenever you are filming, the person should be told. Because if you make any secret, filming, or you secretly record anybody, that thing cannot be tendered in court, except that maybe the person was committing some offense. You understand? But if I, for instance, our conversation, I meet you in conversing, and I start, secretly record you, I cannot tender it in court. You cannot send it to court. So the point I want to make is, one, the police have the right. Me, they stop me every day. Like I said, per the law, when they stop you, you just have to obey and oblige to whatever, because they are there to protect us. Are you getting it? And criminals are not seen by their facial expressions. So I cannot look at them and call you a criminal or not. Are you getting it? So you cannot also be presumed innocent because you look like them. So whenever the police suspect you, they can stop you, search you. The only thing is that from the law, when they take any phone, even if you are arrested, they can take your phone, everything on you, but they cannot search items. So equipment like mobile phone, no police officer have the right to search. They need a warrant from the court. But with you, they can search you to make sure you don't have anything that can cause harm or anything. So the police were just going by their lawful duty. I was surprised to see unlawful act.
But Reverend, there are cases where fine, I think they are searching and doing what they have to do, but then they could incriminate you as well. They could put something in your car.
There's not to be certain the past IGP even, or I don't know, yeah, I think that the past one even made a comment that they received reports that some police officers were. But so all you need to do is to be vigilant. I tell people, don't sit in your car and open your boot for a police officer. Are you getting it? When you open the boot, quickly go there and open it for the police officer. Don't sit in your car and ask the police officer to search your boot. So it's about being vigilant, watching whatever they are doing. You understand? So yes, in community, we have people. I mean, we are dealing with human beings. So the police, we have some. I mean, as you say, a Fabian Mensa room. So we have some police officer who will go to the extent. If we have reports where police officers say best to bring you go and rob the citizen they have been employed to protect. So those issues are there. But the point is, whatever the police did, I think they were also provoked by the gentleman by some of the questions he was asking. But the act of searching, they didn't break any law. It was a lawful act. The police have the right to stop you at anywhere and search you. So the next must be told. I think the gentleman himself didn't know. But from his posture and behavior, he himself, as a journalist who claims to know it all, didn't even know it. That's why he behaved out the way he behaved. They have the right. And therefore, this is what the special weapon. So they have the right. They can search you for narcotics, for weapons. So for hours like that, teaching the IG, like it wouldn't end anywhere. For whatever the gentleman did, I watched the video myself, and I can confidently say they didn't break any law. So that's what I feel. Like I said, the super has shared his opinion. Great person, like I said, but I wouldn't go and film a police officer. Don't provoke an officer. Without one, I would advise them yes. Don't prove. Why you are filming for what? Is it for social media or for what? They have the right. So if then you come right now and say, okay, as a host, you're asking me a question, and I say, okay, let me be sure your question is no relevant. You are the host. You have your synopsis. You decide how to do it. My job is to now understand what you are doing. So yes, the citizens, to me, must be vigilant and observe. Like I said, I wouldn't open my boot for police. I wouldn't open my. I will make sure I observe everything so that nobody leaves any. Drug or anything in my car.
Okay. Right, doctor.
I would say that so far as filming the police, you are not faulting the law. I think you can do that. You know, why am I saying that? Because I think this one is the reason why I think it was suggested is that the instance whereby they've accused police that they've implanted sometimes some kind of maybe weed or cocaine in people's car and later on charge them. And you know, sometimes it's quite difficult. Your words against police work. It's quite difficult for them to believe you. I've experienced that. There was a situation where I think one of the traffic lights, I know myself that I did not pass through the red light. But the police said I have passed through the red light. He took me to the police station. I was telling the commander that I have witnessed because I was with my colleagues. I was even asking them, did I? They said no. Then the commander told me that it's between my words and the police word. Which one should they take? So they will take the police word. So for instance, if you have that law that we are going to record every incident that will happen there. Because I know that if you are doing the right thing, somebody is recording you. Are you not happy? There's instances whereby they recorded police where they were doing good things and people recommended it. So if you know that what you are doing is good, you shouldn't be afraid of people to record you. But if you know that you are doing what is expected from you, why should you be afraid? Because then, if now I'm doing something good, the instance whereby we see people filling potholes, they are happy people trying to take pictures and everything on them and put it on social media. So if you are doing good thing, I don't think you should be worried about that. So I think that it's a good call. But for instance, as in developing country or developed country, you realize that they have cameras around. And I know that Ghana has started in Accra here, they have started putting them. Because if you have all cameras around, there's no need for the citizen to do that. Well, you know, here in America, is it George Floyd or something? Is it not because of video that we also saw what actually happened? If there was no video, how would they even justify that indeed he was attacked by the police? So I think that so far as videoing the police, you are not faulting the law. I think that the citizens should do that. Other than that, they always, when they go to the police station, whatever the police will say is fun. Sometimes they don't even take time to listen.
So it becomes some kind of evidence.
Yes. Okay. You know what happened? He collected my lances, told me to come the next day, that he want to process me to court. I said, okay. I gave him my lances. The next day I came, he said I shouldn't say some place other than the commander will see me. So I did not sit there. Then later on, they bought taxi, asked me to sit inside the taxi. They drove to Kanda here, and he was having a lot of lances in his pocket, collected money from me, forced me on that I should give the money, that I will not give him the lances. Collected the money from me before giving my lances to me.
Wow.
So for instance, if I have a camera somewhere where I captured the police, don't you think I will take it on? Yeah. But if I go there and report, they will still tell me that it's my word against police. Well, which one do they take?
Wow. They did this to you?
Yes, they did. I remember very well.
Reverend, so moving forward on this, I'll focus on my next story. How do we make people aware of certain rights they have? Like you're saying, I mean, no police can take my phone, no police can do this, blah, blah, blah. How about this season of licenses and things? How can we make citizens know things they're supposed to do and things they're not supposed to do? How can we look at that?
This education, personally, I made across some time ago, especially with our security issues. Like, can you imagine the IGP, maybe this visibility that they started, having this microphones on it early in the morning, then they are just teaching just reminding the citizen, please make sure your doors are locked, make sure giving them some of these tips. So as you are moving in traffic, you are hearing some of this sound back from them. It keeps, it helps the citizen to know like some of this as we are talking about. Then also, you see, the police themselves, there have been a lot of reforms that the police themselves are not aware. I went to train some security personnel at Kumasi, and one of them, when I was just like I said, that they have the right to search you, take everything, but they don't have the right to open your phone or any gadget. Meanwhile, police officers were charged at Kumasi because they took a laptop from a gentleman who was suspected that the girlfriend's naked picture has been leaked on social media, so he is the one. So they took this laptop and forcefully opened it. But when they took them to the laptop, you have the right to take the laptop, yes, but you don't have the right to open it. So they themselves, some of them need education, which we are trying to even give to them. So it's a holistic approach. Okay. So I would just make this call again to IGP that look, whilst they need to have ramp or training sessions for them. Because sometimes, like I said, this law previously, that wasn't the case. They could just search it. So they're using the old system. Some of them are not aware that the new law, you cannot search somebody's equipment. You understand? So it's about training and also moving on, training your personnel and also moving on to train the citizens.
How are the licenses
them. The license, you see, they can take your license from the rank. It's inspector that can seize your license.
So the person on the inspector,
yes, he can look at it, but seizing it, he needs to. But most of the time when the police are moving, they move with that rank. They have the officer who is in charge and moving. Mostly it's about from the inspector to the DSP, depending on the kind of weapon. So any officer can look at your licenses, but when it comes to seizing it, he has to give it to the inspector.
That's nice. Interesting. We need a lot of public education on this, a lot. All right. Now, our next story, we're going to Parliament. Now, Speaker of Parliament calls for reform to limit the number of MPs appointed as ministers of state. The Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Bagbin, has cautioned President Kufuor against appointing too many members of Parliament as ministers of state. Mr. Bagbin, while delivering a speech at the first business sitting of the 8th Parliament, said the situation distracts the MPs from parliamentary business. He said, scholars and students of governance have observed and noted that over the appointment of MPs as ministers of state have affected adversely the ability of Parliament and of MPs to carry out faithfully their representative oversight, deliberative and legislative roles. Let me start with you, Dr. Kusi.
Yeah, I think that I share the same opinion, or I agree with what the speaker is saying. Because, you know, sometimes somebody will have the same position, I mean, as MP, and the same time as being appointed as a minister. And sometimes the person may find it difficult to decide when there's two decisions. Maybe has some program to attend or some government duty that he's supposed to do as a minister. And at the same time, there's a problem, maybe certain debate or policy that they need to debate on it and come out with an informed decision about. You know, it makes it quite difficult. So I think that it's good that the president will take more outside the parliament, so that, because the main mandate of the parliamentary is to go there to the parliament and take decision on our behalf, those of us that we voted for them. So for instance, if you are not there to take decisions for us, it will be a problem, because you are there to lobby, you understand, that to your constituency, as well as maybe to help government to come out with good policies. But whenever you are holding two positions, it makes it quite difficult, because if you have two jobs, it's either you do one better than the other. So I think that it's a good call that government can, I mean, select some of them, but majority possibly should come outside the parliament.
Yes,
then you see, the truth is, as it stands now, it's not just about talking. You need to look at what the constitution says.
Yeah, I was about to. What does it?
It says that the president should appoint more than 50% of his ministers from parliament.
More than 50%.
More than 50%.
That's what the constitution.
That's what the constitution says. Yes.
But he's calling that they should amend.
So now the point is, see, I was telling somebody, our laws are not involved. Our laws have will come about due to some of the state situations we find ourselves. You know, per the arms of government that we have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature.
Yeah.
The rule says they should be check and balances. They are there to check themselves. But unfortunately, something happened in the past whereby they made this law, and that defeated, to me, I've been saying, they defeated the purpose of check and balances. So it even made our parliament to be like look like a rubber stamp.
Reverend, sorry to cut, but then to the spirit and the letter of the constitution, which is saying the 50 plus yeah.
More than 50%.
Why people will be asking why framers of the constitution made that?
It was amended to this.
It was amended to this.
Yeah, because there was a time that a bill or something was sent to parliament, and you know, because the parliament can decide, if they don't agree with you, the executive, they can tell you are not passing this bill.
Yeah.
So I think based on that, that's why this was put in that, okay, let's have our people in parliament. And this year, we've had the government in power have majority. So it has been favoring them all this while. But it's not good because, like I say, it defeats the purpose of check and balances.
Sure.
If the parliament is not seen as a rubber stamp, whereby the president now have majority in parliament, of his ministers in parliament, they are not part of the government.
Yeah.
So any government business that comes in, we need to pass it. And this have been seen over the years, especially where the government have been having the majority. So they can tell you, the minority, you can have your say, we will have our way. To see how some of the bills were passed, like the Japan deal was passed, and that has been sent back. So the question is, what due diligence did you do? So I think it's a right call that our right honorable is calling, because he has been. I was telling some people sometimes, look, this is a man that we need to celebrate, because in this fourth republic, that's the right honorable Bambari. From the first parliament to the seventh parliament, he was a parliamentarian. No individual in this country can compete with this kind of feed that history. Then in the 8th parliament, he's not the speaker. Yeah. So in the 4th republic, throughout our first parliament to the 8th, he's there. So to happen in the parliament working, or the moving parliament, you understand? So I respect him a lot. So I think it's a right call. He knows the challenges they have been having with this kind of arrangement.
But how far will some of these calls go? Calling for reform?
No, he is a what do you call it?
The speaker.
And now we are at a very good point. Now the executive themselves wish this clause was found in the constitution. We can look at it now. You are 137. Look, if you are assuming the president is not even going to appoint any minister from parliament, look, the president is still at a very serious junction. You know why? Now NDC has 137 members, NPP 137. Yeah. They have one independent who has now pledged to, okay. Now the Speaker of Parliament happens to be an NDC or He's an NDC. So now, question is, if there's any serious discussion to be, and per the standing orders, Parliament can only form, we can only form Parliament when you have more than half of the MP sitting. Let's have, you can't form no decorum, so you can't sit. So assuming they have any serious business to discuss and Mr. Abababe is not available, it means one of the deputy speakers, first deputy speaker should sit in, who happens to be an NPP man. So then when he goes to sit there, they are 136. NDC has 137.
Okay, so when you are chairing and acting as
you don't have a vote.
You don't
have a vote.
Okay.
So automatically you are 136. You understand? Now the moment NDC walks out of Parliament, you need to stop your deliberations. Because 136 don't form Parliament.
No.
You should be 138.
Well,
this is where we are now.
This is interesting.
This is where we are now, country. So now the call, to me, it has come at the right time, though it's coming from the legislature. The executive themselves also know, because now this is a station where you've not even appointed anybody from Parliament. You have all your members sitting in Parliament. Parliament cannot even hold. If anything should walk out and the speaker is not around, you can't want 36 people to form. You understand? And this is a case that you are now going to employ over 50% of your ministers. Most of them may even travel.
This is so dicey.
So now, look, in the same Parliament, NDC walked out 11 times. That was when they even knew, we can have our say, we don't have our way, because they have the NPP by then had the majority. So even we working out cannot change anything. They were working out 11 times. Now that they have a say, I'm just imagining the number of times they are going to work out. So to me, this call, though, is coming from the right honorable, the president himself. I think he's because he wished he has the mandate to appoint all his people outside Parliament, so he can have his people there. Like I said, even his people there alone, it's not enough now. Because Parliament, then this can disrupt the whole process. You understand?
Wow. I didn't know about this 136 bit. I really didn't know about 136 bit. Where if they don't more than, they can't.
Yeah, if you are not more than how you come from the group. So a group cannot be formed, so you can't have the Parliament cannot be in session. You understand? So to me, from where I say it, I think this is the time that we need to now, as the president needs to now extend some kind of listen to the NDC or the opposition party, because it's not easy. To me, this Parliament, I'm expecting more workouts. I'm expecting more workouts. So if they decide to now start working out now, they cannot have ministers or even confirm ministers for you. It's a very dicey situation we find ourselves.
It's so dicey.
The president, I think, well, I don't know whether they will do it. I'll appoint some of the ministers from the other side.
You have to accept. There's one thing you are appointing and another thing they are accepting.
Yes, but of course.
And they're accepting. You know,
if I'm the president, I will do that. Because if you are not accepting, it means that you are not ready to serve Ghana. You know that.
Because you are not
ready to serve Ghana.
Let me help you here. Most of the time, before the president appoints, he doesn't come out to announce that he appointed a person.
Yeah.
You understand? So I will be surprised for the president to come out and say, I appointed this and so people. Most of the time, they appoint some people which I know. I remember there was one person who the president spoke about, and he said, I won't do the job. The president come out to say. So now if you come out to tell me that this NDC and this person has refused to take an appointment, I'll be surprised at you. Why didn't you mention your people's name when they were refusing to take your appointment? So how we know the president has appointed somebody?
I think that both parties are, advocating for
and with what you're saying, I think it has to be the all-inclusive governance.
So if it's all-inclusive, maybe you... So
all-inclusive doesn't mean it should be from Parliament.
I'm saying... But
it should be from Parliament.
Yes, but the point is that you want where it will favor you. And it means that it can also be from the Parliament.
They are being selfish,
No, I'm saying that not being selfish, but of course, there are some people at the opposite, meaning the opposition, that they can also do those ministerial appointments, right? So of course, if I'm government and I come out that I want maybe a certain percentage from the opposition, because I know that these people can do diligently in this field of this.
So let me ask both of you, so does it mean that all this while, speaking to this issue, we've been doing a disservice to us as a people, because we've not had this together, this consensus and all that. One party was more than another party and was taking all the advantage. But now we're going to, like you're saying, we're going to a crossroad where it is not like you have to necessarily work together.
That's why we are all, I think we all agree that this time the dynamics will change. You understand?
It has changed.
Yes, because the president has no option than to try as much as possible. If, to me, I still stand by my suggestion that I will appoint some of the ministers from the other side, or some of them to be deputies from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will make it known to the public, not that specifically that maybe I'm pointing Reverend, but I will come out and say that this time I'm going to take maybe 5% or maybe 10% of my appointment, the ministry appointment from the NDC. And I'm sure that they definitely will come out to say whether they are accepting or not. And when they refuse, it will go against them. Yeah. Because people may think that you are not ready to serve our country.
But no, do I necessarily have to be in Parliament to be appointed as minister?
That's what I want to know.
But I think that the Constitution said that 50%, right?
Of your ministers.
Yeah,
more than 50%.
Yes, so this is a situation we are saying that if now, for instance, MPP is at 137,
yes.
If we add 138.
Yes.
Now, for instance, if he's taking 50% of it, assuming that the president is taking 70 ministers, and it means that he's going to take around 30 from the parliament. Right? So those 30 is going to be difficult because it may happen that when they have a policy or something, it will be very difficult for you to get all of them on board. Some of them may be assigned somewhere outside doing business for government and here and there.
So now, from what you are suggesting, will you agree when somebody said that you are either bribing or trying to blackmail the because all these years you had the opportunity, you've been there.
That's what I'm saying.
The last 4 years you were there. How many NDC people did you appoint?
No,
but now that we've gotten to that's what I'm saying.
So sometimes certain conditions should happen for you to change your dynamics. I'm coming. Certain conditions to happen before you change your dynamics. Those times they were having a lot. Reverend, sometimes you may have some position, and within your household, you have a lot of people who can do the job. It's only for you to go and take somebody outside because you have, even within around yourself, you have a lot of people. But this is a situation you don't have them. So you have to also go outside and look for other people to look at it. Now, whether previous government, I know it's not only MPP who has done that, NDC has also done that, where anytime they appoint is from NDC solely. You understand? It was only, I think, President Kusi-Appiah that last 4 years, he appointed some from the other side, not NDC, but we know PNC. You understand that there are previous...
no, this was Matemidu was appointed.
Yes, he also appointed Matemidu. Yeah. So what makes it wrong to appoint? But the point is that whether it's coming from the parliament, that is the issue. So I don't think that is something that we say is entirely new. Because he has appointed Matemidu. So now you understand that? He has appointed PNC and it's working for them. Yeah. So I think that they can... So nobody can just hold on the president that why are you not, because he has done some before.
Somebody can hold them on. And
you can, but I'm saying that somebody has done some before.
This is
the other party, and they have appointed any member.
I'm saying
maybe apart from
this is the reason. All these years that we've been calling for an all-inclusive government.
Sure.
That the situation where you find ourselves as a country is when the moment somebody comes to government, we see the opposition as enemies. Look, I always tell people, opposition is never new. We even need opposition. Can you imagine when President Kusi-Appiah was elected that he didn't have any opposition or there's nobody there to contest? How was he going to rule? Yeah. You can imagine what he would have done. But because of opposition, he has to be on his toes, sit on his toes, make sure things are done right. We've been calling for this all-inclusive government that, look, when you win government, extend hands. It does not even necessarily have to be in parliament. There are individuals out there who can come in to support. Yeah. But because of the way everything is not partisan, we see, in fact, some of them, they are even deliberate attempt to even destroy the opposition business. There are many businesses that were lost during the NDC regime, the Yefo and the rest. There are many businesses that businessmen who have lost their business in the NPP government. So that is, and this is why
it's not helping us.
But Dan,
it's not helping us.
Yes, that's the other side. But the other side, when you're also pointing from the other side, you know, the person does not necessarily maybe believe in ideologies. So you have to also be careful who you are pointing. But the person too can make sure that your visions, you will not be able to achieve your visions and your missions.
I was going there
so we have to also look at it in that.
Now the point is, question is, there's nothing like this for what they have been calling for this national agenda. Apart from this ideology and vision and what, if you have a national agenda,
we're all playing
that we know this is what we want to do. So over there, some of the calls that we were calling, things we were calling for, and the parliament. Politicians felt, I mean, they can do whatever they like. It's now beginning to bite them. So to me, like I said, it's not at this point that you're not calling for all-inclusive. It means that either you are bribing them which I personally don't support.
That's why
you should have started.
Yes, but
you had opportunity.
I think he appointed.
You understand? You had the opportunity.
Yeah, but
it's a lesson for our politicians.
Yes.
And you see, the NDC currently is also doing something which from where I sit, I think the politicians are not learning. 2012, when the NPP was going to court, you heard it right. The NDC by then spoke as if this thing will never happen, calling and making statement that any idiot can go to court, all these things. Now 2016 and 2020, you are also about to court. To me, I think it has brought you to a state where politicians need to now study the terrain and know that they can't take Ghanaians for granted. So they should be careful of their actions, their utterances, because anything you are doing today can come back and bite you tomorrow. Yeah. You understand? So I think it's a lesson that the president, don't forget, the president even stood on the platform from now and said, I cannot work with an independent candidate. Today, he's your savior. To me, there are a lot of lessons that I believe the politicians watching us should learn. They shouldn't take things for granted and think that tomorrow, there's no tomorrow. Life, there's tomorrow. So
okay, it's a discussion that we can go deeper into it. It's very interesting and has a lot of things we can bite into. And seriously, I mean, this is what our democracy should be like. I mean, we're moving it forward. We see very inclusive things like you're saying. But we don't have enough time. We're wrapping up very soon. So I'm going to be asking my guest in a minute each, quickly, just to final remarks. It could be on schools reopening today, anything we've discussed. I'm going to start with you, Reverend.
All right. So I think my call will be to the right honorable once again from the analysis I did. Now, everything is on time of the agent. So he needs to be a statesman, like I said. He has gone through all the process from first parliament to the 8th parliament now. Sure. Don't forget, he had a presidential ambition. So if he still have that ambition, it means he needs to satisfy the NDC. But where he's sitting now, he's a speaker for Ghana. Yeah. So most of us we are going to watch him keenly, because everything he's going to do is either he's going to support the Ghana agenda or his party agenda. Yeah. And I would just encourage him that from the level or the achievement he has made so far, he shouldn't allow politics or shouldn't wear his political lenses, but rather be a Ghanaian and make sure we have a good parliament. I mean, putting the government on his toes or the executive on their toes, but not joining the workout. Because if they say any perceived, decision or thing that he will do to just support the NDC to make the parliament not effective, we are going to say it. So I think he should be alert and know that we are watching him as a speaker, and we expect him to be somebody said a diplomat.
Okay.
I will just touch on the COVID. I think President's speech, he said something that we should be safe than to be sorry. Which is very, very important. But what I also say that concerning the airport, because some of the cases are coming from the airport, I think that the president should also really look at this. Now they will test you when you come, they will test you when you are positive, they will allow you to. I think that they have to quarantine them for the 2 weeks that they used to do. Because sometimes somebody will just go for the test outside and become maybe tested, maybe negative. But you see that when you are traveling, when you are coming to Ghana, you go for shopping, you visit families and those things. By the time you come to the airport, maybe they will test you and it will still be negative. Sure. But within that 2 weeks time, you go outside and mingle yourself with Ghanaians, and that is where maybe the disease will. So I think that the president, whether you are negative or positive, they should still quarantine you for that 2 weeks. Okay. Then of course I have to also recommend, my university, they are doing well in terms of the management. Okay. Now, students, you cannot even enter, the VC, University of Education, Winnipeg. I think the measures he has put is very excellent, that I want to say. Now, you cannot enter the university when you don't have nose masks. Okay. And before you enter, they will check your temperature. Okay. Then most of the wards, we have sanitizer that you can even check. The other thing is that, the university, they have task force. Those, now they are there. If you don't have the nose mask, they will force you. I remember even lecturers, they are forcing them. So I think other universities also try and learn from that.
Today is my daughter's birthday. Okay. My brother, Kusi-Appiah. Okay. Happy birthday to you, my brother. She's now 6. Okay. My third daughter. All right. Yes. My brother, happy birthday to you. Okay. Daddy loves you.
All right. So, my brother, on behalf of everybody, we're also wishing you a happy birthday, and we're joining your father to wish you a happy birthday. And talking about birthday, this one's to happy for the birthday to you, Veronica Rima Ama O2 of Letter Pharmaceuticals. Limited, QC department. As we celebrate this milestone, our prayer is more decades of prosperity, good health and long life as you age on. With love from Mama Emilia, Mr. Franco Wusu, Baba, AC Ekua, and Fanny, all of Ashongman Estate. On that note, I want to say thank you to Reverend Kusi of the Natwa.
Kusi is my father's name, so Thomas. My name is
Thomas.
Okay.
Kusi of the Natwa University. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you so much. Very good points there. And then also to Dr. Philip Kisi of the University of Education of Winneba. Doc, thank you so much every time. Thank you. All right, so this has been the Wednesday edition. Tomorrow, Joy and Whom will be here as well. And don't miss any bit of it. And there's still a lot more to look out for on GTV. We'll always have the best for you and very authentic as well. And like I keep on saying, Godspeed and God bless.
Don't Z.